the WNBA to get a deal done. The WNBA season is scheduled to start in 3 months, but there is still no contract between players and the league. That is the holdup. There is no pen to paper. There is no deal that has been implemented for us to have a 2000.
Only 3 months remain before the WNBA season is set to tip off. Training camps begin in just 8 weeks. The draft is only 7 weeks away. Free agency must sort through more than 100 players. Yet there's still no contract, no collective bargaining agreement, and no clear structure to make any of it possible. This isn't just a countdown anymore. It's a full-blown alarm.
Here. Now, the article goes on to say, after meeting face-to-face weeks ago, it seems the WNBA and players are back to negotiating yet again. It was reported that after the players submitted a CBA proposal in December, the WNBA still hasn't responded to it in February. The sides met in person in New York last week with over 40 players attending in person or via Zoom. At the meeting, the league still did not have a response ready for them, but submitted.
What most people are missing in all of this is the gamble the players made. In 2024, they chose to opt out of their existing CBA, believing they held the upper hand. With a surge of momentum from Caitlin Clark's explosive rookie season and record-breaking ratings, they assumed the league would have no choice but to fold to their demands. The plan was bold. Scrap the old agreement, push for 30% revenue sharing, and let fan pressure force ownership's hand.
Know that they didn't even respond to their December proposal. Now, it goes on to say, while the league did not budge much on the matters of the money, particularly on revenue sharing, now the league is holding true to wanting to give the players 15% of revenue sharing, but the players want 30%. For whatever reason, they is adamant about this 30%.
What many people fail to realize is just how big of a risk the players took. In 2024, they walked away from their current CBA, convinced the leverage was finally on their side. Fueled by the massive wave created by Caitlin Clark's electrifying rookie season and historic TV ratings, they believed the league would be backed into a corner. The blueprint was simple but daring. Abandon the old deal, demand 30% revenue, and rely on overwhelming fan pressure to make ownership break.
Have appeared to concede a few things to the players, one being the housing. Now, Breanna Stewart told CBS Sport and Unrivaled this week that yet the proposal ultimately will not be accepted by the players, mostly because the league still isn't offering enough when it comes to the revenue sharing portion. According to Malone report, there is still a huge gap between the sides on this topic. The players want 30%, like I stated, now resulting in a team salary cap above $10 million per year and a max individual salary of $2.5 million. The WNBA is still only offering about half of that in this current agreement.
That's not negotiation. It's a calculated show of force, and it reveals exactly how ownership sees the standoff. They're not losing sleep over canceled games. They're not scrambling to protect the league's momentum. They're standing firm, confident that if anyone cracks under pressure, it won't be them. It'll be the players.
This is a very important part here, guys, to get a deal done. Though the WNBA season is scheduled to start exactly 3 months, training camp usually starts about 2 to 3 weeks before the WNBA draft is happening. A week before camp kicks off, that's a month right now. Now, there are over 100 free agents who need to negotiate and sign new individual player contracts, setting the league up for an unprecedented amount of free agency period in an extremely limited.
Breanna Stewart didn't dance around it on CBS Sports this week. She said it straight. This proposal won't be accepted, not because the players are being extreme, not because they're demanding the impossible, but because the divide over revenue sharing is still enormous. The players are pushing for 30%, a structure that would lift team salary caps beyond $10 million annually and raise max individual salaries to roughly $2.5 million. The league's counter? Half of that. 15% revenue sharing, $5 million team caps, and max salaries hovering near $1.20 million. That's not a minor disagreement. That's not a small gap to bridge. It's two entirely different blueprints for the future of the WNBA. And here's where it gets risky. The league has conceded on certain issues: housing, upgraded travel, stronger maternity benefits, the kind of improvements that look great in headlines and press releases. But none of those adjustments alter the core financial structure. Ownership has been on optics, just not on the one issue that truly defines power in this league: how the revenue is divided.
No one's talking about that. No one's talking about free agency being affected by these CBA negotiations. See, a player could ultimately make the wrong decision by signing too early or not giving it enough time for their agent to negotiate their deal. See, free agency is going to be impacted the most by all of this whole WNBA CBA thing. See, I don't know, but I'm very interested to see how all of this plays out in the next coming weeks, because I stated to y'all back in probably October, November, if they do not get a deal done by March, you can pretty much count the season already 30.
Right now, more than 100 unrestricted free agents are stuck in limbo. They can't negotiate new deals because there's no CBA framework to negotiate under. You can't set salaries without knowing the cap. You can't structure contracts without knowing the max. You can't plan your future without knowing if there's even going to be a season. So everyone waits. And the longer this drags on, the worse it gets. Because when a deal finally does happen, it won't be smooth. It'll be chaos. Agents scrambling to finalize 100 contracts in days. Teams rushing decisions. Players signing deals without fully evaluating their options. This isn't just about a delayed tip-off. It's about compromising the most important free agency period in league history. And the ripple effects go far beyond 2025. Every month a delay pushes the season back. No deal by March? The season likely starts in June. If it stretches into April, you're looking at July or even August. Then you collide with USA basketball commitments in September for World Cup qualifying. At that point, the league faces two bad options: compress the schedule, more back-to-backs, more fatigue, more injuries or extend into fall and winter, competing directly with the NFL and NBA. Neither helps the product. And here's the part people really aren't thinking about. 2026, that if 2025 starts late and runs long, next season gets thrown off too. You can't reset the calendar overnight. Either you permanently shift the WNBA away from a traditional May-September window, or you compress future seasons. One failed negotiation doesn't cost 1 year. It reshapes the league calendar for years. And yet, most coverage is focused on one question: will there even be a 2025 season? The bigger question is what this does to the league's long-term structure. Here's where we stand. The players want 30% revenue sharing. Ownership is offering 15%. The league ignored a December proposal for 2 months. Breanna Stewart has already said the current offer won't be accepted. And we're 3 months from tip-off with no CBA, no training camp logistics, and over 100 players in limbo. This is a stalemate. Both sides believe they have leverage. The players think ownership will cave because fans want Caitlin Clark's sophomore season, because ratings exploded, because a new TV deal just brought in serious money. Ownership believes players will cave because missing a season hurts them more financially, because overseas leagues don't pay like they used to, and because ownership groups can absorb losses longer. Meanwhile, the clock keeps moving. March 15th is the first real pressure point. If there's no deal by then, April timelines collapse. No normal training camp. No orderly draft. No smooth free agency. A May start becomes unrealistic. And every month the league loses, it loses competitive advantage. June, you're up against the NBA Finals. July, Olympic buzz and MLB pennant races. August, football preseason in college sports. The WNBA traditionally owns May and early June. Delay costs visibility. So what's the end game? 3 realistic outcomes. Players accept something near 15% and feel steamrolled. Owners move close to 30% and feel overextended. Both sides compromise around 22 to 23% and walk away equally unhappy. Option 3 is the most likely, but we're not there yet. Right now, both sides are trying to outlast the other. And that strategy costs time. Time the league doesn't have. The players are running out of leverage. Ownership is running out of runway. Fans are running out of patience because no one wins if there's no season. Players lose income and development. Owners lose momentum during the biggest growth period in league history. Fans lose what was shaping up to be the most anticipated season yet. Caitlin Clark year 2, Paige Buchers entering the league, expansion teams building identities. And here's the irony. This isn't a fight over a shrinking pie. The pie is growing. Ratings are up. Attendance is up. Sponsorship money is flowing. The new TV deal dwarfs the old one. There's more money than ever. And yet the season is at risk over percentages. Momentum isn't something you can pause and restart. Casual fans don't wait around for labor disputes. If there's no basketball, many of them move on. The players know this is their leverage moment. If they don't push now, when will they? Ownership knows whatever deal they sign now could shape the next decade. Both sides of logic. Both sides have risk.my prediction. This goes to the wire. March pressure, public frustration, negotiation theater, and then late March or early April, a compromise in the low 20s, a rushed announcement, a slightly delayed season, chaotic free agency, abbreviated training camp, not ideal, but salvageable. Because ultimately, neither side can afford to be blamed for killing the season. But every day without a deal makes the landing messier. Every week increases chaos. Every month burns goodwill. The question isn't whether a deal happens, it's whether it happens in time to protect the momentum. And right now, with 3 months left and both sides still miles apart on revenue sharing, that's far from guaranteed. So where do you stand? Should the players hold firm at 30%? Should ownership stand at 15%? Or should both sides meet in the low 20s and get basketball back on the court? Because however this ends, it won't just shape 2025. IT could define the next decade of the WNBA.